growing up, close to me growing up. I never told anybody. Being at the age of 4, you don't know. He used his elbow, and at the time when I was little, 4, I didn't know what a plunger was, a toilet plunger. I didn't know what that was. And he used a toilet plunger as well, along with his elbow. And me thinking, when I got older, I was thinking like he did this. He did it that way because it wasn't his hands. His hands wasn't touching me. So I felt like, if he did it with something else and not with his hands, I don't know what. I don't know. I just felt that that's what he was doing. And I can remember also, he only did that. That was his first and his last time. And this older boy, when I was young, my grandmother had a pecan tree, a field. And I was at the pecan field. I don't know whose house it was, but it was right next to the house. And I can remember the boy taking me on the side of the house. He had me up on the house, grinding on me. And me, I didn't know what was going on. He was grinding on me, and I never said anything to my grandmother. Never. My mom moved me and my brother to Wichita, Kansas, sometime in the early 80s. And I was probably like 6 or 7. And my stepdad, who my mom was married to, his family members, I was probably like 7 years old. I can remember living on this apartment on the hill when it first started. Two of the Wheaton, Weeden, 2 of the brothers molested me really bad for years. They were watching us. He would molest me. And I was always wondering, like, why? To me, I was the ugliest little girl. I was so ugly. So why was I being touched? And I also felt like I had to be touched because then they wouldn't mess with my sisters. They'll touch me instead of them. So I wanted to protect them so that it's me and not them. He touched me for a long time. A very long time. And then we end up moving here from Wichita, Kansas, like in 84. And then the second leading brother, he started molesting me really bad. Really bad. He would give me candy. He would give me money. He took me with him, going places, and he would, I don't know why, my mom would have, I don't know, I just didn't know, like, why am I going with him? And I can remember him walking me on his having me on his shoulders, and I was young, I was little, and as I'm walking, he's walking, he has his hand, or as he's holding me, he has his hand inside of my panties. He has his hand inside of my panties. And he did it. Like I said, he did it for years. He would say, you can break my cigarette. Here's my cigarettes. You can break them if it hurts and I don't stop. And if I don't stop, you can break them. I can, at age 7 or 8, people say you get eat out. My private got licked off. Got licked often. He would, every time he would come to watch us, somehow he would get me alone, and it was 6 of us. So I don't know where the other kids were. So like I said again, I allowed that to happen, or because I didn't want my sisters, them, getting molested. And then, like I said, he would, try. He never tried the front to stick it in my vagina. It was always in my, my backside. And he would say, you can break my cigarettes if it hurt. And I would say it hurt, and he did stop. But he kept trying. He kept trying. I was just such an ugly duckling, and I just really didn't understand why these men, kept touching me. I never did anything. My mom wouldn't allow us to be by, men or hop on them or anything like that. So what was it about me that I kept getting touched? And that them two brothers are not the only brothers in that family. People in that family, men that touched me. It's someone other, close also, who touched me, and I don't think he think I know he did this because I played sleep. He snuck in my bed. We had a bunk bed, and I slept on the top bunk. And I didn't, at first I thought it was my brother or somebody, getting in the bed with me, or my sisters, because they sometimes did it. And I knew it wasn't. I didn't have to open my eyes because I felt him go in my panties. And I played like I was asleep, but I wasn't asleep. I wasn't. I kind of opened my eyes to see who it was, and I seen who it was. I pretended like I was asleep still. He was touching me. And then that was his first and his last. He got down off the bed, and that was his first, like I said, and his last. It hurted so bad. Being molested, it hurts you so bad. Physically, emotionally. But along with that, getting abused physically by a mom that was abused, and that's her only way she knew to discipline. Beating us with extension cords, belts. I love my mom. I forgave her for that because she told me that's all she knew. But it hurted so bad. And by me being the oldest, what my sisters and brothers them did, it's like I got beat for it. We got beaten for little bitty things or something that I didn't do. And I could just remember my mom, I just want to die. I didn't want to live anymore because I was tired of getting beat for nothing or for the little things, being blamed for so much. If she didn't know who did it, she just went off and beat us with the orange extension cords, gray extension cords, the brown extension cords, switches, belts, hand. I mean, we really did. And my stepdad, we were so scared of him. It was like walking around pins and needles. We were so scared of him when we were young. When I was young, I know. We all did, because he can walk past us and we will jump thinking, because he's making a sudden move, thinking that he's going to hit us. I wanted to die. When I walked to Green Bay Avenue School and we had to cross like the streets, I just wanted, and I was probably like in the third, I can remember third or fourth grade or something like that. And I just wanted to dash in the street to get hit by a car. It was what I would think. And then I got to thinking that I wanted my parents, I wanted my mom and my stepdad to die. I wanted them to die in some kind of way. I wanted to go to school and tell somebody. I wanted to be in foster care because I didn't want to live in that house anymore. I didn't want to live because I knew, like, this can't be how life's supposed to be. And if it's like it's supposed to, if this is how it's supposed to be, I don't want to live in it. I wanted another family. People can say, I hear people say that, I wish I was a kid again. Not me. I never want to be a kid again. Because I don't feel like I had a kid's life, however you say it. Because from the age of 4 to 14, I have been molested from different people and men, and I don't know why. I'll go over friends' house, family members, close friends, and I can remember this man, older man, we were sleeping, and this older man, that was my first time meeting this man. And it was I think it was the sugar daddy of the lady that I was over. And I can just remember him coming into the room that we were in. I was sleeping on the floor. He came and he started feeling on me. And I was moving his hand away from me. And then he started dragging me by my feet, trying to get me out of the room. But one of the boys woke up and seen what was going on, and he scared the man away. I didn't do anything to provoke this man to touch me. I never did. Like I said, I was so ugly when I was little. I'm just like, what is it that they touch me? Why? I still ask why. What did I do wrong? And people can say what they say like it wasn't my fault, but it's hard to register that. Because I know I didn't do anything. I know I didn't ask for what I got. One day, one of my sisters, I caught one of the brothers that molested me, trying to molest one of my sisters. And I caught him and I stopped it. And we went to tell my mom. We told my mom what happened, and nothing was done. He kept coming around. We told, but nothing was done. My mom and my dad divorced in 86. After we had a hard life when my mom divorced my dad, me and my brother, my little sisters, them was with their dad, my stepdad. And my mom, she always put men in front of us. It was always about a man. Her chasing to be with someone. I don't ever remember my mom ever being without a man. Never. I know my mom, she was molested too. And I don't know if that had a lot to do with why she feel like she needs a man. I don't know if that's the reason. But she was molested really bad too. So she knew how being molested feels. She had a man that came around. His name, James Simmons. We was living on 11th and Locust here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I don't know where he came from. I don't even remember ever really seeing him around. The time that we seen him around, he moved in. I was sleeping on the couch because it was only 2 bedrooms and it was me and my brother. And I decided to sleep on the couch. We had a sectional. And one day he woke up in the morning. He worked at a blood bank. He woke up in the morning and I was laying on the couch and he woke me up for something, I don't know. And he kissed me. He kissed me and I was kind of shocked by it, like what And then he kissed me and he left. And my mom, and I really do think, I think he did touch me on the backside and he kissed me. And my mom, I think I got up, I don't know if it was a weekday or we got up for school, but when we got up, she asked me, she said, what was James doing over there? When he came, what was he saying or doing over there? I said, and I was kind of shocked because now I know my mom seen it. And I said, he touched me, he tried to kiss me. And then she was like, what? And I said it, you know, told her. So I'm like, ooh, okay, she's gonna put him out. He's no longer gonna be, you know, coming around anymore. And I can remember I got home from school. And when I got home from school, he was there. And I can remember going in the bathroom and crying because he was cooking. And so I knew that he wasn't going anywhere. This man touched me every night. This man would, I don't know, try to be super nice to me so that he can, I don't know, get the kind of bond he wanted with me. Because I remember he used to be like, I can't wait to make love to you. I can't wait. You know, he would say, oh, when your mom goes to something, you know, you're going to come in the room and watch TV. And I could just remember him touching me and it hurt like so bad. And I just really wanted him to stop. And he said to me, what happens between us stays in between us, because as you see, you'll see, I know he threatened me, as you see, your mama ain't gonna do it, and your mama's not gonna do nothing, and I'm not going anywhere. I was just so afraid, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I knew he meant what he said, because my mom, he stayed. Like I said, this man, he molested me every night. And I started back sleeping in my brother's room. And the reason why I stopped sleeping in my brother's room, because when we were younger, my brother, he didn't take care of his hygiene. It was his feet, and I couldn't stand it. So I moved back into the bedroom so James wouldn't come and touch me. I was like, well, if I move back in here, he's not going to come and touch me. And that didn't stop him. That didn't stop him from touching me, because he came in the room, he did it. My brother slept hard, so he didn't hear it. We had moved from 11th and Locust to 19th and Wright, and it got worse there. I had a room in the back by myself. And I probably was like 12 years old. I had to be like 12. And he would, like I said, he would do everything. He would do things to get my mom to leave so that he can touch me. He would come in my back bedroom, and he just always try to force himself. And I would say it hurt and stop. But he wouldn't stop. And I would try to have to fight this man off by locking my legs together, because I still playing like I was asleep, so he wouldn't touch me. But he would pry my legs open. And then I would kind of get loud, tell him stop, stop. And we would go to his dying mom house. And they would be sitting, him and my mom would be laying on the couch, and my mom would fall asleep. We'd be watching a movie, and he would grab me to move me closer to the couch. So he's on the back of the couch laying, and my mom's in front of him. Or no, it may have been like that, or if my mom was in the back and he was in front, and I was laying in front of the couch, and as I'm laying there, he's in my panties. And it hurted so bad. I wouldn't make a noise, but it hurted so bad. Hurted so bad. But he would often remind me, what happens to us stays to us. And you know what I told you.
I didn't want this stuff to be happening, and I didn't want nothing to happen to my mom or my family. But I hated my mom. I hated her. I hated her so bad. I hated her so bad. I always thought about running away, killing myself. I thought of death, suicide often. Often. I was bullied so bad by kids, and I didn't know why. I didn't do anything to nobody. Nothing. Dance battles, I would get beat up just because I won a dance battle, or I thought I could dance. So from being physical abuse, emotional abuse, and sexual abuse, it just tore me down. I can relate to the kids where they say that kids be like, people think that, oh, you get older and you're supposed to get over it, but you don't. You don't. You can get counseling, and I got counseling for it late in life. One day I was sleeping, and back in the day when they would open up the fire hydrants in the summer, I know who woke me up. My father woke me up just in time, because my mom was taking my sisters and brothers them down the street to play in the fire hydrant. James, I woke up and I ran outside because it was really quiet. And we were about to go down. James was begging me, telling me, Tinka, you should stay. You should stay here with me. My mom is standing right here. And I'm like, no, I want to go. And you should stay here, begging me in front of my mom to stay there. Now, if a man would do that to one of my kids in front of me, I know something ain't right. And I'm going to address that issue. If my kids would have told me, Mom, so-and-so touched me, I would have killed them. I always told my kids, tell me. Somebody touch you, tell me. Don't tell nobody else. Because if God is my witness, I was going to kill them. And I meant that, because I know how it is to be sexually abused. It's not good. It hurts. It hurts your heart. It hurts everything. It messes with your mind. Everything. But this man begged me not to go. And my mom and I'm just like, no, I don't want to stay here, because I knew what he was going to do. I knew what he was going to do to me. Like I said, every night. So my cousin Peggy and my cousin Boo, they were going back out of town to move to Wichita, Kansas. And they were the only ones that I really had, family-wise, from my mom's side. And I didn't want them to leave me, because I didn't want to stay there with my mom, because my mom was on drugs. Jay had my mom was on drugs. I can't even say he had my mom on drugs, because both of them was doing drugs. And I know, smoking the pipe. And like I said, my mom would be in there sleeping, and he would come, molest me, say that how much he loved me, and he just can't wait to make love to me. And I told my cousin Peggy, and my auntie Cleo, and my ASE came down here, and I don't know if they talked to my mom or not, but they convinced my mom to let me go. And I was so happy, and James begged me not to leave. He begged me, and that was my last time going over to my mom's house, because I had got all the clothes that I could get, and I was never going to step back in that house again. But when I did, he begged me to stay. He begged me. And I was just like, no, I'm not. I'm leaving. I'm not going to do it. I couldn't stand this man. And so when I moved back here in '89, this man, when I moved back here, and I was like, maybe like in 92, 93. It was in Capitol Court where Target was. And my kids, my oldest two kids' grandmother, I was with her. We were shopping, and we're walking down the aisle, and I seen him, but he seen me before I seen him, and he came up to me. Tinka, he was like, "Isn't your mom named Candy?" And I'm like, when I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, and I knew instantly who he was. And I froze inside. I was so scared. He was like, "You don't remember me, James Simmons?" And I'm like, "No, I'm pretending," because I knew exactly who he was, but I didn't want to remember. He was like, "You gotta remember me, Tinky. You don't remember?" I'm like, "No, I don't remember." And when we got in the truck, and I told my kid's grandmother, I said, "That was one of the men that molested me." And she said, "What?" She said, "Why didn't you tell me that? I would have shot him right then and there." And she always carried a gun in her purse. And she pulled out that gun. She said, I would shot that man right then and there. But I knew he wasn't worth it. And that wasn't my first time running to him. Every time I would run into him, he so badly wanted me to know who he was. And I didn't want to remember. He said, "You're not that young enough. You wasn't that young that you don't remember who I am." And I was like, "I don't remember you." I didn't want to remember him. I would lie. Every time I run into him, it just takes me back to where I was a child. And it's like it happened that same day, or it just had happened. And with family functions, I stopped doing that with my stepdad's side of the family because I had